Okay, so I really didn't have much to make a video about this week. What time I had for this, I just took and I scraped the grease off of it, then went over it with some brake clean and a small toothbrush style brush and just went over the whole thing, and it took forever. And it was a pretty bad mess, but I got it a lot cleaner. Finally, it got a little bit warmer the other day, and it was actually above freezing for the first time in quite a while. I was able to get this outside into the driveway and hit it with the hose and the pressure washer and some solvents and things outdoors, and it came out pretty clean. But I didn't figure anybody wanted to watch me clean this engine, so I didn't make a video about that. While I was sitting here scrubbing on this thing, and being the vintage that it is, it reminded me of something I saw long time ago, probably back in the 90s. I was at a car show, and I can't remember what year it was, but or what years they were, but it was a few Chevys, you know, kind of this engine's vintage, which is what made me think about those cars while I was cleaning this engine. They were from like the 60s. I was looking under the hood, and what I saw, and it's been a while since I saw this, because it's weird that I remember it being a chain that was attached down around in here, and it was somewhere around in here. It was like a chain attached from here down to the chassis of the car, like the frame of the car. And I think I remember it wrong because I did a little bit of research on this thing that I'm about to talk about, and the pictures that I saw of it were actually like braided steel cables and not a chain. I remember looking at that, and I saw it on more than one of these 60s Chevy cars. I got curious about it, and I was looking at this one that actually still had it on there. The owner of the car was there, and I asked the person, "What is that cable doing there?" The guy said, it's there to keep the engine from twisting. And he went on to tell me more about it, and that it was like a recall. What apparently was going on is that under certain situations, the engine could twist kind of like that way. The way they designed the throttle cables, actually it wasn't even a throttle cable, it was more like a throttle rod. And the way the connections worked was that it didn't have a cable, so it was this rod, and it was, the nature of the mechanism there was one which, it was good at, the mechanisms could, go well like this, but in twisting, they could get bound up. What I guess the recall was about actually had to do with the motor mounts. And I guess there's a couple different kinds of motor mounts, but this type of motor mount was, I think, just kind of bonded. And what would happen is the motor mount would go bad, and then under certain conditions, the engine could rock, and rock quite a bit, and then that linkage between the carburetor and the firewall, which was like a combination of rods and bell cranks. You'd have to look at pictures of it. I don't have any pictures of it, but you'd have to look at a picture of it, and you'd see that if the engine rocked over enough, the linkage between the engine and the firewall could bind up. And then, depending on where the throttle was at that time, it could make the throttle stick. So I read a couple of accounts of this happening. In one situation, it was the driver was going around a left-hand turn, and that made the engine lean over hard enough that way that it made the throttle stick. So they're going around a left-hand turn, and the throttle was stuck, and they ended up in a bit of an accident. And then the other, I'll tell you the situation that the guy at the car show told me was one where if you were accelerating hard and the motor mount was bad, the engine could tip over enough and then make the throttle stick wide open, and then you'd be stuck at full throttle until you turned the engine off and made the torque go down, and then have everything settle back down, and then the throttle could go back to idle. The root cause of it seemed to be the motor mount. The secondary cause of it seemed to be the design of the throttle linkage. So there was two causes of this, two design problems there that were causing this stuck throttle problem. What I thought was, just so kind of funny to me was the way they fixed it. Rather than, come up with a new motor mount or come up with a different throttle linkage, they came up with this method of, running a cable from the engine down to the frame to keep the engine from moving. And I've always thought that was kind of an interesting solution to that problem. And what I think happened there, to me, the most logical solution to this would be to come up with a different motor mount. But what I think probably happened, I spent a little while working for a large company, and I kind of know a little bit about how large companies think. It's almost always about money. And what I think probably happened was, you had this engineering manager, goes to their engineers, and the engineers are tasked with fixing this problem. And they're like, oh, well, here we go. We'll just redesign the motor mount. We'll make that better, prevent this problem from happening. And in the process of doing this, they came up with a price of how much it's going to cost. And it was like, from what I read, it was like millions of cars needed this fix. When you need like over 6 million of something, if something costs, especially back in the 60s, if something cost even a few cents more, if one solution per unit cost only a few cents more, that adds up in the end. But probably what happened eventually was the engineers were like, well, the cheapest way we can do this is run a cable from here down to the frame and keep that from happening, keep the engine from moving around too much that way. And it's going to cost, much, much less than any other solution. Anyway, like I said, didn't have a lot to make a video about this week. Just a lot of cleaning, a lot of boring cleaning. It looks a lot better. It's a lot cleaner. I think I can run it this way. Probably going to try doing that in the next couple of weeks. I got to get some stuff for it. I don't even want to try to run it with that carburetor the way it is. I don't think anything good's going to come out of that, but I think I can probably find a kit for that, and it's a Carter WGD, and it needs quite a lot of attention, and there's a few gaskets I've got coming, and I'll need things like spark plug wires, cap and rotor. Probably ought to find a points and condenser for that. I'm going to need it eventually. Anyway, again, not a lot going on this week, so I thought I'd talk about that recall. And the other thing of it is, I'm not a historian about this stuff. I could be wrong about those things, but the little looking around I did, that seemed to have been the case about what happened there and why those cables were there. So anyway, that's about all I got for you this week, and I'll see you next time.